For brazed plate heat exchangers, which material is better, copper or nickel? Yes, the brazed plate heat exchangers, like others, they will already know there are two types: brazed soldering. Copper and nickel brazed solder. I take a step back. How is a brazed plate heat exchanger made? A brazed plate heat exchanger is a type of heat exchanger that, realize, essentially they're printed. Stainless steel plates. There is a print on it, always called the copper sheet, or in nickel, the heat exchanger is assembled, let's say, supporting plates one on top of the other by interposing the copper or tin sheets. Nickel, position the nozzles. Once the heat exchanger is formed, it is placed in an oven at the melting temperature of copper or nickel, a vacuum oven, where the heat exchanger is. Left, the exchangers, because we bear in mind that the oven is filled with exchangers, they are. Depart for a specific number of hours. At a melt temp, repeat, copper or nickel. Yo, that copper or nickel is dissolves, stainless steel, no capillarity. Copper goes into the contact points, and after a certain period of time, the exchangers are extracted and ready to be used. Clearly, all heat exchangers go through pressure testing procedures. Why after such a process is not a repair possibility? Exchanger works or leaks. If loses, it's a gap, nothing can be recovered, no chance of retrieval. Regarding heat exchanger production, brazed plate heat exchangers now scrap. It really has very, very high values. Let's get to the initial point, nickel or copper. Let's say that technology started with copper heat exchangers, were then followed by the birth of nickel brazed heat exchangers. Why? Despite its excellence as a material, copper has compatibility limits that need to be considered, especially in certain applications. Ability to resist corrosion from specific substances and items. If, for instance, we utilize copper-brazed plate heat exchangers for steam and boiler water, treated with amines, obviously ammonia, amines do not get along with copper, they corrode, and in a short time the heat exchanger will start to leak. Nickel exchangers must be used. Nickel exchangers have limits. Pressure, because while a copper-brazed plate heat exchanger can easily reach 30 bar or even, at higher pressures, as we will observe, the nickel exchanger has a lower resistance to pressure. Standard heat exchanger, 16 bar. Then there are versions up to 25 bar, and consequently one must be cautious where it's used. On the other hand, it has the advantage of width. Water that is corrosive, water or corrosive fluids that are aggressive towards copper, nickel works exceptionally well. Didn't you? Fascinating, huh?